Humanity only.
Yeah, these, God
And
bless
blasted
them.
them for what was going on St. Patty's Day.
Okay, welcome everybody. So we just read the first sentence of chapter 8 last time. So I hope you have chapter 8 there in Ma'amar Heichaltzu. And we then gave a sort of lengthy introduction to basic Kabbalistic concepts that are necessary in order to understand the next part in this particular chapter. So now we're actually going to read those parts that are difficult. Okay, so we're on we're on chapter 8, and where it says the Zehu. Very good. On the third line down in that particular chapter. The Zehu ikara hefresh b'shorosho bein sfirat tohu l'sfirat tikun. This is the basic difference in their root between the sfirot, the divine emanations which exist in the realm of tohu, which is the realm of, you could call it chaos perhaps, l'sfirot the tikkun, and the way the divine emanations express themselves in the realm of tikkun. Okay, now we actually introduced this a little bit yesterday because it's really pretty deep and sort of technical using all these terminology, but we talked about, we don't actually, he's going to explain. The sfirot tohu ayu bechinat ana emloch dafka ani v'lo acher. Because the sfirot, the way the divine creative expressions are expressed within the realm of tohu. Remember, the realm of tohu is the realm in which the breaking of the vessels took place, the shvirat kelim. So that is a very crisis stage in the process of creation, and we're trying to fix what happened in that stage. Okay, now what happened in that stage? In the stage of the creative process, which is called the stage of tohu, so all of the sfirot, all the divine expressions, so each of the one is in the aspect of what is here called ani amloch, I will rule, or ani v'lo acher, I and nobody else. It sounds like Israeli politics. Okay, so how do you like that, the way things work out? So and the idea there is that, as we explained yesterday, that the sfirot, these divine emanations at this point, exist in a differentiated form, but with no connection to each other. So, like we pointed out before, Chesed in that corner, Gvura in that corner, Tiferet in that corner, right? And each one doesn't see, as it were, I mean, being very anthropomorphic, as if a sphira is like a personality, though it sort of is in a certain sense, the way it eventually expresses itself. Each sphira sees itself as being mutually exclusive and wholly independent from the other. Okay? The gam inyan hamelucha b'chinat yeshut v'hit pashtut. The whole idea of rule, I will rule, is a concept of feeling your substance. I am something, v'hit pashtut. And the idea of spreading out, meaning me, there's only room for me in here because I'm really overweight. I'm so overweight that I take up the entire space in this room. No room for anybody else. Don't come in.
Don't get
personal. You have a suck in my belly. There's no room for anybody else here. So that's hit pashtut. That each sphira spreads out, no room for anybody else. That's the realm of tikkun. Of tohu. It's called tohu. V'zo gam kein hasiba masha habitul shalahem haya b'chinat ratzo lavad. That's why it is that the bitul which takes place, the self-abnegation which takes place, this is a really fascinating idea. This is just amazing. As I'll be able to explain in a second. That the bitul, the self-nullification, you see, we always think of self-nullification as a good thing. That's humility, self-negation. That the self-nullification which takes place between the sfirot in the realm of tohu, right, the world of chaos in which bad stuff happens, that's in the level of ratzo alone. Now, let me explain these two concepts now. There is a pasuk in the prophet Yechezkel, Ezekiel. And this, it's in chapter 1 in Ezekiel, and it's a vision of angelic beings, chayot, they're called there, which in modern Hebrew means animals. Of course, actually it means, even in biblical Hebrew can mean animal, okay, but living beings, in this case reference to angels. So the pasuk is Hachayot Ratzo V'Shov, that the angels were going ratso, which actually comes from it means this they're going upward, like rots, to run. They're going upwards. Also could be related to the word ratzon, to desire.
Desire, yeah.
Okay, could maybe the two-letter root, resh sadi. Sometimes three-letter roots in Hebrew can be boiled out to two letters. So they're going up, ratzo, vashov. Shov means to go back down.
Yeah.
Okay, Kamara habazak, like the vision of, and it actually is very interesting. That's a nice idea of Jacob's ladder, but the Yechezkel talks about that it was like bazak, like a vision of lightning. Like, okay, whatever that means there.
Lightning comes down and then it goes, but you can see it. It goes back.
Really?
Up.
Wow.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
hits the ground and then.
Neat. So in any case, ratzo v'shov. Now those two terms. So ratzo, that's up, and shov, that's going back down. Those two ideas are very fundamental in this Kabbalistic Chassidic terminology, and I want to talk about it for a second. Ratzo means the impulse to want to, I'm out of here. Get me out of here. I want to beam me up, Scotty. That's ratzo. I want to go back to God. I want to go back to my source. That's ratzo. Shov is, you got a job to do. I made you for a reason. Go back down there, go into a body, and do what you're supposed to do. So ratzo is, get me out of here, beam me up. Shov is, get back down and do your job.
Could that be what happens sometimes in these near-death experiences that people relate?
Ooh, wow, beautiful idea. That it could very well be. And we see this idea is applied and expresses itself on so many different levels in our lives, even personal lives, that comes sometimes on a mystical level. Like the soul has a near-death experience where it wants to, like, hey, this isn't so bad. You know, after a car accident or something, the person's laying about to die, and the soul is like, there's this beckoning light, and the soul almost like a magnetic pull towards the light, and a feeling of contentment and being returning to source.
Well, lesser soul sleep.
I'm
No,
sorry.
They say, you're not
Sleep.
done yet.
Okay,
What use the 1/60th of our soul.
beautiful. And it could be even sleep, kind of like, sleep is very seductive. Like people like to sleep. Matter of fact, some depressed people, they like to sleep because depressed people is also kind of like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
Because this is kind of like sense of contentment and return to the source. And of course, it's let's get back to Rabbeinu Zev's idea that so then God sometimes says in your experience, not so fast, Kowalski, right? We're not done with you. You go back in the body because you got some more work to do. Okay, so and then sleep. I love that too. That image of because the 60th of death, it's the soul separating from the body, and then it comes back in. I think there's on some level that people wake up in the morning and sort of disappointed. Darn, I was sort of afraid that this would be the end, or not afraid, but I was kind of hoping that I wouldn't have to wake up. But we actually say Modani lefanecha. Thank you. Okay, now I want to talk about this deep. Yes, exactly. Now, I want to talk about this on a deeper level, because what he's saying here actually surprised me. It was really pretty surprising, because you see, there's two types of bitul of negating oneself. You can negate yourself in a way in which, like we talked about, beam me up. So that's a kind of a self-negation. It's almost a kind of a suicide, right? I'm tired of kind of living in this world of where I got to worry about how to make a living, and it's constant challenges, and the people stepping on my toes all day long. It's very hard to be a good Jew because I'm just so distracted and challenged, and the real world, right? And then so that's a kind of a bitul of, I'm tired. I want to be just an angel. Can I just be an angel? Right, just floating up there in the higher spiritual world, saying kadosh, 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 holy, holy, holy. Please, God, God, I want a second career as an angel. Midlife, change the career thing. You see that a lot nowadays. I'm tired of being a human. I want to be an angel. Okay, so that's the ratzo. So that's a kind of a bitul, because you're negating what you are now, right? But there's also another kind of bitul, which is called shov. Now, What's interesting about this, he's saying that the world of Tohu, which is the world in which each sphira is in a mutually exclusive state with all the other sphirot, and he says that that's actually a kind of, in fact, a shov modality. See, I thought, wow, because shov sounds good. Shov is like, I want to be an angel, right? So why is shov associated with the world of Tohu? So I want you to think about this for a second, because it's amazing. And I'm going to say something a little sensitive, and really when it's broadcast, it's a whatever.
You've
Fire me. Who's going to fire me? Some guy in Alaska or, Africa, New Zealand. I get people, they're
Yeah,
all
from
over.
all over.
Yeah. Shov, I'm out of here. I want to become an angel. So that the root of that is actually, if you think about it for a second, completely self-serving. It's a complete self-absorption. Why?
That's right. So
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. No. I'm sorry. Wait a second. Wait a second. I'm messing up my terms because it is early in the morning. Okay. Sorry. Ratzo. Thank you.
Because Ratzo's going up.
Yeah. This idea of Ratzo, I might have messed up the entire 5 minutes of what I was trying to say. Ratzo, which is the impulse to go up, is actually kind of a bitul, but I was surprised because, and that characterizes the level of tohu, of self-abnegation.
Yeah.
Okay, I just did a correction. Did everybody get it now? We're back on track.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
I did the replace button. Okay, fine. So that actually is unbelievably egotistical, because what are you saying? You're saying, I don't want to do my job that I was sent to the world to do anymore, right? I am thirsty. I just want to be fed, because when you want to return to your source, see, there's a certain nobility to it too. I'm thirsting for God. I'm thirsting for my source, but there's also incredible selfishness to it. Everybody appreciate this? Because I'm tired of being down here and having to deal with Hashem's being so hidden, and I got a job to do and all the challenges. I want Ratzo. I just want to escape from all of this, and I just want to drink in divine pleasure. So you could call it a kind of spiritual hedonism or a kind of spiritual narcissism, which maybe isn't a better word for our purpose, because narcissism is completely full of the only thing that counts is really me, right? Me. Okay, feed me. So I want out of here because I just want to drink in that divine pleasure from being in a state of communion, dveikut, with Hashem. That's Ratzo. So that's unbelievable narcissism, though of a spiritual sort. So that's why in the world of Tohu, in the world where there are each sphira is in fact only full of itself, because that is a kind of egotism of just feed me, right? Feed me. Just I want to drink in that divine communion and not have to deal with everything down here. Whereas the next world, right? V'lo b'vchinat shov. It's not the level of shov. The ratzo going up is not a true bitul because it's self-serving, right? Right? Exactly. We'll talk about this more in a second because I didn't say my controversial point yet. We can't stop it until I make my controversial point. Ki'im haregesh atzmo, right? You just want to satisfy this need, this right of your personal need. That's why there's no room for anybody else because I'm self-serving. Vikar bitul b'chinat hashov. The real bitul, the real self-abnegation is shov, going down. Okay? So I want to explain this idea, and there's great truth to what I'm about to say. And I actually had this discussion with somebody. You see, there are basically two modalities. There is in our relationship with God. See, because the sphirot obviously are connected to God, but in the realm of Tohu is God, when's the last time you did something for me?
Take it or leave it.
Right? Exactly. See, it's I'm thirsty, feed me. Right? Shove is, what can I do for you, God? I work for you. So to put it in a kind of, I saw this in Israel in an amazing way. You know that the 3 boys that were murdered, kidnapped and murdered last summer.
Yeah, yeah.
When I was in Israel when I was home last time, I went to a program. There was this rabbinic conference. They had as part of it, this was unbelievable, the 3 mothers who were interviewed by, it's actually amazing, a TV interviewer, like a woman on TV, who happens to be a Balat Tshuva, and who Haredi, and she's on TV, like regular secular TV. It's amazing, with a shaitel, with a wig. It's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
So she interviewed them, and it was beyond belief. And one of the women said, and you hear this a lot, you know, she said when that was going on, before they knew that they were killed, and you know, and trying to deal with that and absorb it, that she tried to tell herself that, God, I know that you don't work for me. Right? See, when we pray, and our whole kind of religious mentality often is, oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? Right? It's like, you work for me, God. And so I got a kind of a wish list here. I'd like you to do this for me, and that for me, and that for me. And then there's another approach. You know, I work for you. You know, we don't always know what our boss has in mind, why I'm supposed to be doing this. I can't really figure it out, but whatever. You know, like in the army, there's this, yours is not to question why, but to do
Or die.
or die. Isn't there something like that? So I know when I was in the Navy SEALs, like that guy who lied about it, he was, you know, whatever. So, you know, that's, you follow orders, right? That's shove. See, ratzo is, you work for me, God, right? Feed me. Shove is, I'm a soldier. You know, I work for you. What, you know, I'll do what I'm supposed to be doing, and it doesn't always feel good. Okay. So I want to point out something. If you look around at the way in the world, I'm not talking within Judaism, though it's expressed among Jews too. There basically, you see these 2 types of religious impulses. There is a complete focus and obsession on salvation. The whole end all and be all of religion is to be saved. Salvation.
So
That is ratzo.
that's what's up.
That's ratzo. That is, God, you work for me.
You work for me.
The reason that religion exists is in order to make sure that I have a happy ending, right? That's the purpose of religion, to save me from this mess. I'm saved, right? That is ratzo. But you know what's interesting? That the fundamental thrust of Torah is what?
Deeds.
I'm an Evid.
That's right. We have
I'm
to
a
do it.
servant.
Yeah, we have to do.
I work
Do the
for
daily
God.
jobs.
Yeah, I got a job to do. I mean, why do I work for God? I don't want that to sound arrogant. You know,
It's not. It doesn't
I
sound
like
arrogant.
every employee. You know,
It's our
I
job.
do sometimes a better job and sometimes a worse job, right? But that's the fundamental mind frame: is what do you want from me?
What's my
Not-
mission today?
Yeah, what can you do for me
Yeah.
today?
What am I doing for you?
Right?
Right.
So, and just look around at religions in the world. That is such a fundamental parting of the waters. And even though both are kind of spiritual in a sense, and that's why there is that ratzo is also kind of a spiritual impulse, right? Of going up, right? But ultimately, it's not a true, as he says here, bitul. It's not a true self-abnegation, because it's actually a kind of spiritual narcissism or a spiritual hedonism. Feed me, feed me, feed me. Do something for me. Save me, right? Salvation. Whereas the true bitul, the true self-abnegation, is in fact shove. Go back down. You got a job to do. Shut up and do your work, right? That's shove, okay? And so the world of tohu is the world of ratzo, and the world of tikkun That's
Yeah,
the world
that's
of
the way
of
forward.
repairing.
Yeah.
That's the world of do your job, be an Evid, be a servant of God. Now, just end with, even though I talked about sort of the parting of the ways between the fundamental posture of Judaism in terms of shov, not ratzo,
Mhm.
okay? And I think other religions are very much
Mhm.
ratzo oriented. But take a look what's happening among the Jewish people. And with all due respect, and even to people who might be listening to this, that, oh, Kabbalah, right? It's spiritual hedonism. The whole New Age, Judaism, all
Oh,
this
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
stuff.
Red string.
Rabbi, I'm interested in Judaism spirituality, but
Mr.
not mitzvahs,
Yeah,
not
right.
halacha.
That's right.
Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me when to do it. But I want spirituality in my life.
That's right. That's
That
right.
is
Yeah.
the ratzo thrust.
Mhm.
That's not Torah. Now, just as a parting shot or comment, and this is not a nasty point, but there is obviously a rhythm, a legitimate rhythm of ratzo and shov.
Of course.
We do have to experience, and it's natural and healthy, that there is a room for the thirsting,
Mhm.
and it's a
Give and take.
give and
flow.
take. It's a thank
Ebb
you.
and
That's
flow.
what I want. Ebb and flow.
Flow.
Thank you. There's an ebb and flow, and you need both. But the primary thrust is I don't know which one's the ebb and which one's the flow, but I have a job to do. What can I do for you today? That is the shov, and that is the world of tikkun. And the crisis was because of only shov.
Mhm.
And that is, what can you do for me? I want to be fed. And we'll see tomorrow how this relates to what Midyan is all about, what Moshe is about, and how we're going to carry out our job in the world of
Tomorrow's the last
tikkun.
time we do this until you come back.
Tomorrow will be the last time until after Pesach.
So the class starts at 5.